of a forgotten road. A woman with nothing left but her shadow knocked on the door of a silent ranch and changed two broken lives forever. Sarah Millwood had been walking for 3 long, painful days. Her old shoes were torn, and every step sent sharp pain through her blistered feet. The hot sun beat down on her head like a hammer. Her lips were cracked and dry. Hunger twisted inside her stomach like a knife. 6 months earlier, her husband had died suddenly from a weak heart. The bank took their little house because they could not pay the loan. Friends and neighbors turned their backs on her. A widow brings bad luck, they said behind her back. Doors closed in her face. No one gave her even a piece of bread. She felt like a ghost no one wanted to see. Tears mixed with the dust on her cheeks as she walked. She remembered her husband's kind smile, the way he held her hand at night. Now she had only a small cloth bag with 1 extra dress and a few old memories. The road stretched empty for miles. Birds flew away when she came near. She whispered to herself, "Just a little more, Sarah. Don't stop now." Then, through the wavy heat, she saw it. A lonely ranch standing alone on the dry land. A thin line of smoke rose from the chimney, dancing slowly into the blue sky. Smoke meant fire. Fire meant food. Fire meant a living person. Hope sparked in her tired heart for the first time in days. With the last strength in her legs, Sarah pushed forward. The wooden gate creaked as she opened it. She walked up the dusty path and stopped at the heavy front door. Her hand shook as she knocked 3 times. The door opened slowly. A tall man stood there. He looked about 40, with strong shoulders from years of hard work. His face was calm and serious, but his eyes were dark and empty, like windows in an abandoned house. His shirt was old and faded, and a few gray hairs showed in his black hair. His name was Jack Brennan. He did not smile. He did not speak at first. He just looked at the dusty, tired woman standing on his porch. Sarah's voice came out soft and shaky. "Sir, please, I am looking for work. I can cook good meals, clean the house, wash clothes, feed animals, anything you need. I don't ask for money, just a small corner to sleep and a little food each day. I have nowhere else to go." Jack stared at her for a long moment. The hot wind blew dust around their feet. His eyes studied her face carefully. Then he spoke in a low, deep voice that sounded like it had not been used much. "You can stay, but there is one condition." Sarah's heart beat fast. She waited, afraid he would send her away. "You must bring laughter back into this house." She blinked in surprise. Laughter. The word felt strange. She had not laughed once since her husband died. Her own heart felt too heavy for joy. But the empty road behind her promised only more hunger and pain. She had no other choice. She nodded slowly, her eyes looking down at the ground. "I will try my best," she whispered. Jack stepped aside without another word and let her inside. The house was neat but felt cold and lifeless. The wooden floors were clean, yet they seemed to hold old sadness. The furniture was simple: an old table, a few chairs, a stone fireplace. No pictures on the walls, no flowers, no children's toys. It was like the house had forgotten how to be happy. Sarah put her small bag in a tiny room at the back with a narrow bed and 1 window. She washed her face with cool water from the bucket, changed into her cleaner dress, and went straight to the kitchen. That first night, she made a simple pot of vegetable soup and warm bread with the things she found. The smell filled the kitchen. Jack came in from outside, washed his hands, and sat down. He ate quietly, spoon after spoon, without looking up. When he finished, he gave one small nod and went to his room. Sarah cleaned every dish, wiped the table, and then sat alone. The quiet pressed on her like a weight. Tears slipped down her face as she remembered cooking for her husband. But she wiped them away and told herself, "This is my new life now. I must make it work." The days passed slowly at first. Sarah worked from morning till night. She swept the floors until they shone like new. She washed the windows so sunlight could come inside. She cooked hot meals, stews with meat, fried eggs, fresh biscuits, and sometimes apple pie from the trees outside. She washed Jack's dusty clothes and hung them on the line to dry in the sun. Jack left early every morning to work on the ranch. He fixed broken fences, cared for the horses and cows, and came back tired when the sun turned orange. They spoke only a few words each day. "Good morning. Dinner is ready. Thank you." Two broken people living under the same roof, each carrying their own heavy sadness like a secret they did not want to share. One quiet afternoon, while Jack was far out in the fields, Sarah decided to clean his bedroom properly. She dusted the shelves, made the bed neat, and wiped the small table beside it. That was when she saw it, an old photograph in a simple wooden frame. A young woman with bright eyes smiled happily, holding a little girl with curly hair and a big grin. They looked full of life and love. Sarah's heart squeezed tight. She felt she was looking at something very private. She put the photo back gently, but the image stayed in her mind all day. That evening, after dinner, Sarah found the courage to ask. She sat across from Jack at the table and said softly, "I saw the picture in your room today. Who are they?" Jack put down his spoon. His shoulders dropped. For the first time, his eyes looked straight into hers, full of old pain. His voice became rough and slow, like every word hurt to say. "That was my wife, Emily, and our little daughter, Rose. 4 years ago, a terrible fever came. It took them both in just 1 week. I sat by their beds day and night, holding their hands, praying, but they slipped away. After the funeral, the laughter died in this house. The light went out. I kept working, kept breathing, but I stopped really living. This place has been silent ever since." Tears filled Sarah's eyes. She could feel his pain like it was her own. Without thinking, she reached across the table and placed a gentle hand on his arm. Jack did not pull away. That small touch felt warm and kind. The first gentle thing either of them had felt in years. They sat in silence for a long time, but it was not an empty silence. It was the beginning of understanding. From that day, tiny changes started to happen, like the first green shoots after a long winter. Sarah began humming soft old songs while she worked, tunes her mother sang when she was a child. At first, the sound surprised even her. Jack noticed from the porch. He did not say anything, but he started coming inside earlier. Instead of eating alone in his room, he sat at the table with her. Then came the morning that changed everything. Sarah was baking biscuits, her mind lost in old memories. She forgot to watch the oven. When she opened the door, a cloud of smoke came out. The biscuits were black and burned. She stared at the tray for a second. Then, without warning, a small laugh escaped her lips. It was cracked and rusty, like an old gate opening after years of rain. But it was real. She laughed again, louder, at her own silly mistake. The sound filled the kitchen like fresh air. Jack heard it from the hallway. He walked in slowly, wiping his hands on a cloth. Their eyes met across the smoky room. For a moment, surprise showed on his face. Then he smiled. A real smile that made the corners of his eyes crinkle. A deep chuckle rose from his chest. Soon, both of them were laughing together over the ruined biscuits. The sound was strange at first, but it felt wonderful, like sunlight breaking through dark clouds after a storm. They laughed until tears came to their eyes. Not sad tears, but happy ones. That moment was the turning point. The house began to wake up. After that day, everything felt different. Sarah's humming grew louder and happier. She sang full songs while sweeping. Jack started telling her little stories about his day, about the baby calf that followed him everywhere, about the stubborn horse that refused to wear a saddle. In the evenings after dinner, they sat longer at the table. Sarah shared happy memories of her husband, how he used to dance with her in the kitchen and make silly jokes. Jack talked about his daughter Rose's favorite games and how Emily loved to plant flowers. The pain was still there, deep inside, but sharing it made the hurt feel lighter. It was like two people carrying one heavy basket instead of two separate ones. Small joys grew between them. One day, Jack taught Sarah how to ride the gentle old horse. She laughed when she almost fell off. Another evening, Sarah made extra sweet pudding, and they ate it slowly on the porch, watching the stars come out. They began to notice the beauty around them, the golden fields, the birds singing at sunrise, the cool evening breeze. 6 weeks passed like a gentle dream. One golden evening, Sarah and Jack sat side by side on the old wooden porch. The sun was setting in a sky painted with orange, pink, and soft purple. Birds sang their goodnight songs. A cool breeze touched their faces and moved Sarah's hair. They did not speak for a long time. They just watched the light slowly fade behind the hills. Finally, Jack turned to her. His voice was full of quiet, deep emotion. "Sarah, I want to thank you. You brought laughter back to this house. You brought life back to me. I did not think I could ever feel this way again." Sarah looked at him. Her eyes shone with happy tears. A soft, warm smile spread across her face. She reached out and gently held his hand. "We did it together, Jack," she said softly. "The laughter belongs to both of us now. We found it side by side." In that peaceful moment, the old ranch no longer felt empty or cold. It felt warm and alive. It felt like home, not because of the strong walls or the roof, but because two lonely, broken hearts had opened their doors and slowly, gently, started to heal each other. Sarah and Jack still carried their old sadness. Some nights the pain returned like an old visitor. But now they had someone to sit with in the darkness. They had small laughs, shared meals, quiet talks, and the comfort of knowing they were not alone anymore. They had hope. And in the quiet ranch under the wide open sky, two broken souls had learned the most beautiful truth of all. Sometimes the bravest thing you can do is let another person into your life. Together, with patience and kindness, you can bring the light back and turn an empty house into a real home filled with laughter once again. If this story touched your heart even a little, if it made you pause and feel something real for a moment, I have a small request. Please take a second to visit my Facebook page, and leave a rating and a review. Your support truly means everything. It helps me keep bringing you more powerful, emotional stories like this. And if you're still here, tell me in the comments, where are you listening from?